Hey y'all, welcome back. Let's go ahead and go over today's homework. Today we're just practicing sketching out these angles in standard position, and then we'll also get a little bit into finding some coterminal angles towards the end. So before we get started with number one, I do want to label each of these endpoints just to make this a little easier. I don't have to do this on all of them, and in fact, once you kind of get the hang of it, you don't really need to do it on any of them. But I just find it's a little easier to estimate where the angles are going to go if I have a little visual cue here. So here's 0 degrees, 90, 180, 270. And then one full revolution would take me back to 360. So the reason I'm doing this is because if I look at 137, I'm not going to use a protractor or anything like that. I just want to sort of estimate where this needs to go. So it looks like 137 is going to be in quadrant 2 here because it's in between 90 and 180. Let's go ahead and draw our initial side. And then our terminal side will be right here. So 137, see, minus 180. This nice little tool in Cami can help you kind of get an idea of where it could go. I don't think you need to do that for all of them. It doesn't need to be super precise, but just to get a good idea, see, 180 minus 37 would be 43, so we're looking for like a 43-degree angle here. I think these numbers that you're seeing on here can be a little, they might confuse you more than they help you, so I almost don't even want to show you, but just know that this can kind of help you a little bit if you're trying to figure out where it should go. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get rid of that. I'd rather just sketch it, okay? So just kind of hand draw this. So let's see, halfway between 90 and 180 would be 135, so it's slightly more than halfway. So I'm gonna just put it there. So here's my terminal side, and I'm gonna go ahead and draw my rotation notation to show that it's a positive angle measure. Ooh, that kind of looks ugly. So there we go, so that's my sketch. Now I'm not gonna rewrite all these angle measures at the extremes for each one of these. There's really no point in doing that as long as you know where they are. I'll just refer back to this one for each one. And like I said, when you start getting good at it, you won't have to refer back at all. You'll just know, hey, this is 0 and 90 and 180 and 270, 360, and you'll just kind of get the hang of it. 259 is going to be more than 180, but less than 270. It's going to be closer to 270. So it's going to look something like this, with the rotation notation coming around, and we're going to go counterclockwise. Remember, counterclockwise is positive, clockwise is negative. So for number 3, we're going to do our initial side right here. Initial side's always in the same place. The vertex is at the origin. Initial side goes along the positive x-axis. 342 is greater than 270, but less than 360, and it's a little closer to 360 than it is 270. Let's try to get a straight line there. And so I'm just going to estimate it's about right there. So here's my rotation. And there's number 3. So you can see, once you get the hang of these, they don't take very long. This homework video is going to probably be one of the shorter ones this year because you can run through these pretty quick once you know where the angle measures are. 54, here's my initial side. And really, you could, if you want, you could go run through all these and just draw all the initial sides because they're always going to be in the same place. It's, we're trying to get these in standard position. And the definition of an angle in standard position is that the vertex is at the origin and the initial sides along the positive x-axis. So 54 degrees is going to be slightly more than halfway to 90. So I'm just going to put it roughly here. And my rotation notation goes here. Okay, let's try to clean that up a little bit. Kind of hard to freehand these. I use that tablet and it comes out a little nicer, but what can you do? So negative 154. Now, I might go back and relabel this at least once for the negatives to kind of help me out. One thing I mentioned in the lecture video is that if you know where the positive angle measure is, you can reflect it over the x-axis to find where the negative one should be. So like if I know that negative 154 is going to be over here, then if I reflect that over the x-axis, here's the x-axis, I reflect it, I know it's going to be somewhere down here, okay? But just to kind of help me out a little bit more, I'm going to put 0 Here's negative 90 down here. Negative 180 is going to be over here. Negative 270, and then, of course, if you go all the way around clockwise, one full revolution in the clockwise direction is going to be negative 360. So we can see now where our terminal side should end up. Here's my initial side. My terminal side is going to be somewhere over here, which is where I was sort of alluding to when I was pointing over at this one over here. So just make sure that when you're negative, though, your rotation goes in the clockwise direction. Okay, this is a very important convention to remember. Counterclockwise positive, clockwise is negative. 268. 268 is barely less than 270. So our terminal side should be just really like almost on there. I mean, really, it's a 2-degree difference, which is nearly imperceptible. Okay, maybe this might not even be enough, but really we're just trying to sketch these out. We want to know generally where is it going to be. We don't need to make it perfect. Here's my rotation notation, and that's it for number 6. Okay, let's move on to number 7. 146. Okay, 146 is going to be in between 90 and 180. I guess I'll leave this up just so we can scroll down as much as I can here. So I do want to reference these angle measures, and if it helps, I guess I could rewrite them here, but it looks like we can see everything. So 146 is going to be a little bit more than halfway between 90 and 180, and it's a little bit closer to 180 than it is 90. So my angle measure should look something like this. My terminal side definitely is in quadrant 2. Now we got something a little interesting here, 907. So if we're trying to figure out where the terminal side needs to be, what we need to do is subtract 360 from 907, and we'll get a better idea on where it needs to be. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to type out the, kind of what I'm doing. Why is this not, okay, there we go. So 907 minus 360, and I want to keep doing this until I get an angle measure that's less than 360, so I can get a pretty good idea where it needs to go. Now, I want to check my arithmetic here. I don't trust my own arithmetic. So I'm going to do 907 minus, let's clear out all that from the notes, 907 minus 360. I get 547, so I'm not quite there yet, okay? I want to keep going. I want to subtract another 360. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract another 360, and let's see, so minus 360, and that gets, oh, not 36. Let's back it up. Okay, that's where we were, 547 minus 360, 187. Okay, so took us to reverse revolutions or revolutions in the negative direction to get us to a point where we can know where this is, and we know that the terminal side is going to be at the same place as 187 degrees. So that's going to be slightly below 180, right? So you're going to pass 180 just barely. So here is our initial side. And then I'm going to draw my terminal side just a little bit below 180, because right, it's 180 and then 7 more degrees. Ugh. Oh, come on. One of these days I'll get good at this. Okay, so be careful with the rotation notation here, because we want to go around multiple times. So you need to ask yourself, how many times? So if I'm looking at my arithmetic down here, 907, I subtracted 360 twice to get 187. So that means I need to go around twice and then go 187 to get to 907. So just to kind of follow my addition here, if I go one full revolution, that's 360. Another revolution, 360 and 360 is 720. And then if I add 187 to that, that'll take me to 907. So make sure you've got 2 full revolutions, and then you go to the where 187 is. So that's what 907 looks like. Negative 90 degrees. is just going to, that one's pretty easy. Okay, we're just going to rotate in the, let's get rid of this calculator. We don't need that anymore for now. We're going to rotate in the clockwise direction down to negative 90 degrees. Just still a right angle. It's just rotating clockwise. Okay. So there you go. There's all 9 of these sketches. So you know, hopefully you got those all right. And if you've got any questions, of course, as always, let me know. And then the last thing we're going to do down here is we are going to find 2 angles that are coterminal to the given angle. So like let's go back to number 8 just for a moment. We found a coterminal angle, 187, was coterminal to 907. That whole strategy of either adding or subtracting 360 to figure out where the terminal side's supposed to be is pretty much what we're going to do here to find the coterminal angles. And it says give 1 positive and 1 negative coterminal angle. So what we're going to do, basically, and we might have to adjust depending on what the numbers are, is we are going to add 360 to find a coterminal angle that's positive, and subtract 360 to find a coterminal angle that's negative. Now, if your angle is already bigger than 360, you might have to do it twice, but the basic idea is the same. So let's go ahead and say we've got 60 minus 360. That's going to give us our negative angle. You know what? Let's do the positive one first, just because it's a little easier operation to do mentally. So 60 plus 360, so meaning we're going to revolve 1 extra way in the positive direction, is going to give me 420 degrees. So that's going to be one of my angle measures. And, you know, we could add another 360 and come up with even another one. I think this might have been one of the examples on the notes, actually, now I'm looking at it. I think, so like if we were to add 360 to 420, that would give me 780 degrees, which would be another coterminal angle. So there are infinitely many coterminal angles to any given angle. You can just keep adding or subtracting 360, and you'll just keep finding more. So if I do 60 minus 360, that's going to give me negative 300 degrees. Oh, oops, not sure what happened there. Let's get that, find that little angle symbol. Okay, so there we go. We've got 2 angle measures that are both coterminal to each other, and they're also coterminal to the original angle, which was 60 degrees. Just move this over slightly. You know what, I'm going to move it over even a little bit more, clean this up. There we go. Okay, so let's look at number 11 now. Why is that all dotted like that? Okay, anyway, number 11, we're going to do the same thing here. Now notice we're starting with a negative angle. That's not really a big deal. Okay, so we've got negative 245 plus 360. And I'm going to put that in the calculator. I think I'm going to break down and actually use it. Just want to make sure I'm getting the right number here. So I got negative 245 plus 360. And that gives me 115. Okay, so 115 degrees is going to be a coterminal angle that's positive. And if I want a coterminal angle that's negative, I need to do exactly what I did on the last one, and that is to subtract 360 to rotate in the other direction. I need that negative in there. Okay, negative 605. Now, your answers may vary here because, like I said before, you could subtract another 360 and get another angle that works. That's okay, so don't stress out about that. If you got different answers, just make sure that they are, that the difference between my answers and your answers are 360 or some multiple of 360. Number 12, we could add 360 here, but we could also subtract 360 to get a positive. We can go either way. What I'm going to do, just to kind of switch it up a little bit, is I'm going to start by subtracting 360. And the reason why I'm doing that on this one is because when I find my negative angle measure, I'm going to have to subtract 360 twice, right? Because if I just subtract 360 once, I get a positive angle measure, here, like I got 5 degrees. But if I subtract it twice, I will get a negative angle measure. So, another angle measure you could have gotten here is if I add 365 and 360, let me go ahead and type that in. If I do 365 plus 360, I get 725. So that would be another positive angle measure that could work here. So just, make a note of that. But anyway, 365 minus 360 minus 360. Let's go ahead and type that in. And I get negative 355. Okay, so there we go. We got all of the we've got everything we need here, and we're done. All right. As soon as I line this up, go ahead and say goodbye. Y'all have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time. There we go. All right, see you guys.